Yes, hello friends, what's going on, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. As always, I do hope you're doing well, mate, my dear sweet viewer. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News, and it's Tuesday, which means, in the transfer window, it's the Athletic deal sheet, which allows me, a content creator, to easily mosey on through all the Chelsea news and present it to you guys. Transfer news, that is, of course. And we can go through it together. So we're going to do that. Talk about spend, dinero, money, and other stuff as well. We'll talk about other stuff. Rio and Gamora scored for Liverpool last night. That's sad, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to speak about this. We're going to learn what's going on together. Fun. It's going to be fun. Excuse me, I've just had breakfast. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for strapping in. Thank you for subscribing. Because, like I say, we are on the road to 200,000. Heartwarming stuff here on Football Therapy. So do consider liking and subscribing. And should you subscribe, hit the bell, man. That's kind. Thank you. Let's go. Just on Liverpool winning last night. They are blaggy so-and-sos, aren't they? Those Scousers. Yes. They don't look good, though, I must say. Arne Slot has got some blessings at the moment. They're vibing their way through situations the first two games. I would say, had Newcastle's striker that they spent £60 million for employ, have under contract, and pay a lot of money to play for them, had he turned up to work, they would have beaten Liverpool. They would have been 3 or 4 up in the first half, mate. Well, 3 goals up in the first half. The amount of chances they were putting on the Scousers. I'm not here to talk about that game. Of course, Rio and Gamora scored, the 16-year-old winger that we lost. It could be another one that got away, Jamal Musiala. Look, I'm not going to go too much into this. The truth is, Chelsea got a lot of attacking youth talent. You can't keep them all happy. He does look different, gravy granules, though. And, why keep a superstar academy, graduate like that who can score goals in the Premier League when you can spend millions of pounds on Garnacho? Look, the vibes are up. I'm only playing. Maybe Garnacho will be good. Also, just before we get into the actual Chelsea news, transfer news, Crystal Palace looking at Conor Gallagher. What's happened there? I thought he was born to play for Diego Simeone. This isn't Chelsea news, really, but he joined Atletico for 42 million euros from Chelsea only last summer. What? He's a great player, Galadog. I don't know what's happening, why he's out of contention. I'm not going to read. There is an article on it. But yeah, it's very strange. It would be good to see him back, I suppose. It'd be a shame as well. I thought he was going to like the La Liga Madrid life, but we'll see. Anyway, it's time for Deal Sheet. Let's roll around in the filthy mud of transfer news. So far, Chelsea have spent, looking at this graphic, I haven't set up the graphics, but we don't need to, we're just vibing, you and me, we're chilling, we're having a morning together, evening, afternoon, depending whatever time it is we're watching this. I've got coffee, let's sip it now. Brewed locally, or the coffee's roasted and brewed locally in my ruddy kitchen, mate. Roasted beans from a local vineyard. There, they've got a roastery there. They're not roasting grapes, mate. Chelsea have spent £240 million this summer, but we've nearly made £230 million. We've got 13 million net spend, which is very funny considering we've got Champions League money, Club World Cup money, general revenue money. So we are in good financial shape, you would think. Man United have spent nearly as much as us. Guess how much they've generated in sales? Nothing. That's right. Nil point. Nothing. That is what can only be described as great fun. So, Chelsea. We are now on the Chelsea segment of the deal sheet. What happened this week? Well, defender Renny Vega was sold to Villarreal for a deal including add-ons worth around 30 million euro, which I must say I thought we'd get more than that. But still, it is more than doubling our money, represents good value. I think probably the most salient point here is there is a, quote, sizable sell-on clause, mate. So basically, should Villarreal sell a good young player, to another club for a lot of money, which they could absolutely do, Chelsea could make loads of money there. We also picked up a €5 million loan fee when he went to Juventus in January. Wow, that's a massive loan fee. We picked him up for around £11.9 million, getting over a third of that back in just a 6 month loan, getting good value out of him for 6 months in the Conference League, and then selling him for a lot of money. Wow, what a success story for the sporting director brothers. Good job, you guys. Well done. Round of applause, firm handshakes. The club also agreed a £24 million package for Borussia Dortmund's sale of midfield Carney Chukwuemeka, which also includes a sell-on clause. I actually think this is very good, because Chelsea were dreaming of mega Ps for Carney for a while, and it was just unrealistic. So to get him to where he genuinely wanted to go, he was being linked to Leipzig, but he was like, no, I want to go back to Dortmund. They're a little low in there. He's gone to Dortmund. They really like him. He's got a super high ceiling. He's a baller. He is. He's a good footballer, Carney Chukwuemeka, mate. So 24 million quid. I think that's my money back, possibly even a little bit more, certainly a book profit, and a sell-on clause, which makes it a lovely bit of business. You'd have to agree. The 21-year-old just made 5 starts for Chelsea in 3 years. Damn! 3 years he's been with us. 5 starts. Yeah, for 3 years we've been looking, yeah, he's really talented, yeah, he's got something about him. 5 starts, wow. And then, yeah, of course, he spent the second half of the last campaign on loan at the Bundesliga club. He has travelled to Germany to complete his move. Of course, centre-back Aaron Anselmino is also going to join Carnes at Borussia Dortmund on a season-long loan with no option to buy. No. Chelsea rate him highly. It's just a platform, which is good, I guess. Blueco, this is, by the way, silly sausage business, isn't it? The parent company that owns Chelsea and Ligue 1 side Strasbourg also finalised a move with Brighton to acquire midfielder Julio Enciso. Can I just say, I don't understand. I heard someone say on, was it the Totally Football Show, a football podcast, I forget, I listen to so many, say he was kind of slagging it off, saying it's like, what's wrong with football? And, I'm inclined to defend Chelsea and stuff, but I don't understand what's happened here. Like, who has bought Julio, I don't know, Enciso? Who's bought him? Because a club has to own him. Who is he registered to? Who owns Enciso? Why does Romano and the Athletic people say Blueco own him? Because surely that's not legal and doesn't work. That makes no sense. It's saying he's going to be at Strasbourg, then go to Chelsea long term. Right, so he's a Chelsea player on loan to Strasbourg? Or he's registering with Strasbourg and he's going to move to Chelsea? That's nonsense. That's bollocks, isn't it? What does that even mean? With the multi-club mod, as an opposition fan, I'd be like, this is just not football. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. If Chelsea comes first, if we win, Chelsea wins. We score goals, we win titles. That will be fine with me. But Blueco owns Cole Palmer. No, I want Chelsea to own players, and they can be loaned elsewhere, fine. That's, a tale as old as time. But what does that even mean? Anyway, I do find it quite unpalatable, I must say. Look, if he's a good player, if he's good for Strasbourg, good for them, the fans hopefully can start having fun, yada, yada, yada. If he comes to Chelsea and does well, good. Just a bit weird. So he's been, apparently he's he can't be loaned to Strasbourg because Paez, Penders, and Sarr are there. So I guess they're just publicly registering him to Strasbourg to come to Chelsea. So that's probably why. I don't know. Anyway, will Chelsea have any issues if they cannot shift their unwanted players? Now, this is a question that needs to be answered, because what is this bomb squad saying? Okay, well, this looks like it's financial first. In terms of complying with PSR rules in the Premier League, no, Chelsea are in a good position. Like, we just looked at the cash at the top. Loads of sales. We've raised nearly £230 million sterling. That's a lot of money, bro. Like, it's going to be over 300 million sterling should we sell Jackson and Nkunku, which is mega peas, bro. I've got an eyelash stuck in my eye. Hold on. Oh, I think I've solved it, but I just don't know. So yeah, we made loads of money from sales this window, and Carney Chukwuemeka funds to be added once concluded. So that's not even the Carney funds as well. So much money. So much sales money. I mean, the model kind of works. The portfolio of players sales. The Athletic explained last week there's more complicated situation with UEFA, of course. Chelsea were fined €31 million for breaking their rules. Of course, UEFA they don't count the women's team sale into the books. That's, it breaks their rules. The latter significant regarding Champions League squad Chelsea can announce next week as part of the settlement agreement with UEFA. Chelsea must ensure any changes between the list A they submit this time and the one they entered in the knockout phase for the Conference League results 6 months ago result in a positive transfer balance. This relates to wages and transfer fee. Right, well, that's very sexy, interesting news. Something to do with registering a squad for a European competition with finances being positive. Let's move on and talk about the transfers. What position/players are Chelsea still looking at? Well, you'll be surprised to hear these two. We're interested in Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho. What's he doing right now? Sitting on his ass somewhere, playing FIFA, waiting for the call, for the phone to ring. Yeah. I'm not gonna hate on Garnacho. If he comes to Chelsea, I will back him, support him like any other Chelsea player, and I will die on the hill of, if he does really well, it will be quite funny, because it will be another Man United player excelling elsewhere, which of course is part of the banter, part of the box office, part of the theatre. Of course, we're also looking at Leipzig attacker Xavi Simons, but their arrivals do depend on players leaving first, which is why no transfers happened. Here we go. And this does comply with the previously mentioned UEFA situation. So it kind of does make sense. We were getting these briefs from journalists like, oh, they need to sell before they can buy. And we're like, all right, makes sense. It's a squad space thing. They want to make sure they're just like doing things in order. But seemingly it's more than that. It's actually a rule thing, or it's a financial tightrope walking. They're probably on the phone to Man United and Leipzig. Or can you hold on? I'm just speaking to these guys as well. Saying, look, we want to get these deals done, but you see this? UEFA on our backs. As soon as we can sort this out, you're our guys. We gotcha. Chelsea ended their pursuit of Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers this window because they did not think he's for sale. Here's a sting dagger from whoever Chelsea correspondent's writing this. The club has also been linked to Arsenal target Piero Incapi, but there are no talks with Bayer Leverkusen, and there is no desire to buy a centre-back. That might be the right decision. Wes, Chalobah, Tosin, other centre-backs, Badiashile. Who am I missing? Champong. It's just that one that can play passes. But, we look pretty good against the West Ham, and West Ham are really hard to play against, so I jest, of course. Which players could be leaving? There's a lot of focus on whether Nico Jackson will leave Stamford Bridge before the deadline next week. The forward has interest from 4 clubs in the Premier League and in Europe. I thought it was just 4 Prem clubs. I was thinking, who's those clubs trying to buy Nico Jackson apart from Villa and Newcastle? Chelsea are waiting to see how the Alexander Isak transfer saga at Newcastle plays out. Newcastle want a 9, even though, as my colleague Chris Waugh reports, there are a number of clubs. There are a number of those at the club that have doubts over Jackson. So this is at Newcastle. But Isak's sale also has an impact on the strength of Chelsea's bargaining position regarding their asking price to any of the clubs. Unlike unwanted players who are training away from the main group, Jackson is still involved with the first team in case he does not get a move and can play a part this season. And that is sensible. Good work, Chelsea. Well done. Well done, because don't ostracise him. Wrap him up in cotton wool so he can't get injured. Keep him fit. Keep him tuned in to what we're doing tactically. Because as soon as that window closed, go right in the squad, Champions League, back up. We've seen already Joao Pedro and Delap start games together, so that's no striker on the bench. You could put Shim on there maybe, or but there's. I've been saying I got no issue with 3 strikers at Chelsea. The great Chelsea teams of old have had 3 strikers. The same applies, guys, to Christopher Nkunku. Chelsea have had talks with RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich. Plus 2 Premier League clubs have also made an inquiry. Again, loads of Prem clubs and European clubs want Christo and Nico. Everyone's sweating. They're waiting till the deadline gets closer and their fingers are all hovering over the button. Press in case of emergency. Sign Christopher Nkunku / Nicholas Jackson. This is interesting. Bournemouth face competition from 2 Premier League clubs for defender Axel Disasi. Now, we did react to the Bournemouth thing. But the Bournemouth thing, the Fabrizio Romano saying they're confident they can get the deal done. But Sunderland are weighing up, making a bid. Sunderland, who have spent hundreds of millions, where are they getting all this cash from? Already done a deal with Chelsea, of course, with the loan of Mark Guew. So the WhatsApp conversation is fresh, it's warm. Between Chelsea and Sunderland. If I was Disasi, I would much rather go to Bournemouth than Sunderland. I wonder who the 3rd Premier League club. So it's Bournemouth, Sunderland, and there's another club in for Disasi. I've been saying Disasi is a desirable centre-back should you play in the right way. Bournemouth, though, so far, unless the 3rd club is Liverpool or something. Do you know what I mean? He's surely you'd want to go to Bournemouth at the moment. Tyreek George has been targeted by 2 Premier League sides, plus 1 in Italy and Germany. I'd quite like him to get a Premier League loan. Obviously, then he won't be able to play against us. If not, if he has to get a permanent sale, we'll see what happens. Significant sell-on clause, you'd put the farm on, because that's apparently what we're doing at the moment. Right, bomb squad. Chelsea is still working on the departures of Raz Sterling, who wants to stay in London by all accounts. Just heard Simon Johnson on the Straight Out of Cobham Chelsea podcast say as much, because his family settled. Fair enough, really. You can't be like, just go Saudi, Raheem, just go Saudi. He's a family man. He's got real life to worry about. Chile, as well, nothing's close either yet. I really hope Chilwell gets a good move. I would love nothing more for him to get a good move, play a lot, and get in the England team. I'd love it. Forward Datro Fofana, remember him, subject of talk with domestic sides and abroad. And Gilchrist, of course, is still expected to move to a championship team. Under 21 squad players that should be on the move as well. Raksaki is being lined up for a loan. Good. Alex Matos has had contract offers from more than one club and is waiting for a fee to be agreed. Interesting. And of course, forward Donnell McNeely could be heading for a Premier League side that is playing in one of the UEFA competitions this season. I saw him the other day at the under-21s game with Goldberg. I think he was knocking about there, McNeely, which is a shame because he's leaving Chelsea because he scored a lot of goals. He was like our top goal scorer. Was it the season before last? Yeah, he's a bagsman. He's a bagsman. But yeah, of course, the one on everyone's lips today is Rio and Gamora scoring that lovely finish against Newcastle. It stings, but you can't begrudge a young man a moment like that. And you'd have to say he's made the right decision because he's doing stuff like that. Arne Slot's playing him. And turning to him in high-profile games. We just need to hope our youngsters do well. Paez, Stevao, and all the rest of the youngsters. Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Please do leave them down in the comment section below. That's been the deal sheet for this morning. Of course, if any deals progress at any time, I'll upload as quickly as possible. So please do like, subscribe. Should you subscribe, hit the bell. Little reminder, there's daily content on the second channel where I speak about the likes of Liverpool being the blaggiest and luckiest team in the world, beating Newcastle United, who were very unlucky in that game. There's daily uploads on Football Yannick as well. And it's just non-Chelsea stuff. So I'd really appreciate your support over there. We're nearly 20k subs, which is wonderful and beautiful stuff. Just search Football Yannick on YouTube. Or there will be a link in the description organically, naturally, inherently in all the videos for the moment. Right, keep it locked. See you soon.